All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Big Cloud Gaming here, back again. It has been a minute, really, so I've been dropping videos, but let me tell you, I am definitely happy to be back behind the mic. So, first of all, I hope all of you are doing well. Hope you guys are dealing with this crisis, and at least, hopefully all of you are good, dealing with this crisis and everything's fine. Hope everybody's safe. I know it's a crazy thing going on right now, but seriously, hopefully everybody's good, and hopefully this video will help you get through the day. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into this, man. I know a lot of people really wanted me to talk about this PS5. I've been asked by numerous podcasts that I've been on. Numerous people have hit me up and asked me off air on the PlayStation, so I'm happy to oblige. Sorry it took so long. I definitely had to get a few things in perspective before I could even record anything, but nonetheless, we're here. So let's go ahead and talk about it. One of the big things I'm seeing about the PS5 that a lot of gamers are kind of either not understanding or they're kind of looking at it in this particular way with the SSD. PlayStation 5 does indeed have a super fast SSD. This has already been confirmed by Mark Cerny. The SSD that's in the PlayStation 5 is more capable of what is in the Series X. Sony went with a 5.5 gigabit speed SSD for the actual system, and this is actually on the board. This is not no upgradable one. This is on their board. This is their new trick to get past a few things. So what is the big issue? Like, what's the big difference? I know a lot of you are looking at. A lot of people, when they saw this, they was like, okay, this means that PS5 is just a faster system in general, like in terms of the hardware perspective. Well, here's the thing about an SSD. An SSD does not necessarily give you performance like that. What an SSD really does is give you faster read-to-write speeds, okay? And the purpose behind this SSD is to eliminate any potential bottlenecks in the future, basically making the PlayStation 5 a super fast and efficient machine that can render, process, and handle all this data at a super fast motion. That is the point behind the SSD. I know a lot of people thought that this was going to boost maybe 30 frames per second to 60 or something, right? Unfortunately, stuff like that is done with the GPU. In this case, it would be the APU, because that's what these systems are using, APUs. But if you want to put it in perspective, again, when you have a higher clock GPU, that's when you can push higher resolutions. So if you have a top-of-the-line GPU, you can push 4K or 8K, whatever. If you have that type of GPU, you can push those type of things. When you have a good CPU, depending on the CPU, when you have a high-performing GPU, is when the CPU comes into play, right? The CPU always comes into play, but the CPU will always be the thing you reference to when it comes to handling the resolution as well as the overall graphical fidelity. Okay, PlayStation 5 is more than likely aiming for 4K. Well, obviously it's going to be aiming for 4K. Both systems are going for 4K. But the question is, what, I guess you could say, what settings, right? Are we looking at 4K Ultra? Are we looking at 4K, mid, right? We don't really know yet. But I'll have a video at the end of this, where you guys can check out NX Gamer. He did a really good job of comparing these systems in terms of the specifications, and I think you guys should check it out. He actually gives you a reference of how close the gap is. And let me tell you something about this gap here. From what I saw with NX Gamer's video and how he broke his down with the actual, actually broke it down based on the specs, right? And how he showed it on screen. He actually shows examples. From what we're looking at here, Xbox Series X will have the advantage. Obviously, we knew this, right? It has a higher clock GPU. But from what we're looking at here, it looks like about a 15% advantage. So 15% more powerful, or has a 15% more advantage over PS5. Now, if that is the case, if Sony is below the Series X by 15%, and again, this is not confirmed, obviously, this is what he was going off of, right? It's an assumption, but 15%. If Sony is that close to Series X and they're not even pushing the graphical fidelity that much, right? They're all about pushing the boundaries in terms of how games are being created. That is a huge milestone for them regardless. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind when it comes to these next-gen systems, these are big upgrades from what we got currently. One of the biggest things that plague the current gen systems, which is the PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One and Xbox One X, etc., is the fact that we had systems with crappy CPUs. The Jaguar CPUs were the ultimate downfall of both consoles. Now, granted, both particular consoles were delivering and still are delivering some of the best games that we've seen, right? Sony still has Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2. But even with those games coming in, everybody's anticipation is going up for the next-gen consoles, there are limits to what those CPUs can provide you. And there are always going to be these bottlenecks you run into with those type of CPUs. One of the biggest issues and one of the biggest, and it's one of the biggest sources of complaints that I'll always have for Xbox when it comes to Xbox One X, right? I saw it as a missed opportunity. And here's why. Xbox One X focused on 4K instead of focusing on what I believe they should have been doing, which was 1440p, 60 frames per second. And here's why. They overclocked the CPU. The CPU could definitely handle 60 frames per second when it was overclocked, but also they had a GPU that was actually putting out more. And instead of focusing on 60 frames per second, they focused on 4K. And I don't know why. I know people say it's a buzzword 4K, but really, when you have new beasts around the corner, it's kind of pointless to focus on that type of stuff. Really, you know what I'm saying? Why not focus on performance and treat it like you would do like Xbox 360 Elite? That was always my issue with Xbox One X. This particular generation coming up with the PS5 and Series X, we don't have this issue. 60 frames per second is definitely going to be the norm, and we have a lot of other stuff to look forward to. So, again, it's a lot of stuff to take into account, and I'm glad that we finally are here when it comes to these next-gen systems. I'm glad we're finally getting over that inevitable hump, which was over 30 frames per second. We're now over that. I mean, we're talking about consoles that can do up to 120 frames per second, and you know something? That's great. Now, again, I know a lot of people, again, are still on the T-flop thing. Don't be. And here's why I say don't be on the T-flop thing. And again, some people are going to go, oh, look, he's damage controlling. No, he's not, actually. The fact that we have more developers coming out and praising PlayStation 5, calling PlayStation 5 revolutionary in terms of how games can be created, but in terms of how the system is actually operating for developers. Keep in mind, PlayStation 4 back in February 20th of 2013 was the first console that Sony ever made that was made by game creators for game creators, right? PlayStation 5 now has been officially, like, this is legit. This is everything a game creator could want, supposedly. And obviously the results were varied. This is why I said this on Breakfast with Boom. I said, I'm a man of results. The results will always speak. Obviously, we can talk spec sheets all day. I can drop 40 videos for you guys want, right? About spec sheets. But at the end of the day, the results always are going to speak louder than some piece of paper. And so I'm looking at the situation as is, man. I honestly do think that we're in for quite a treat when it comes to next-gen systems. Not only is games going to be bigger for PlayStation 5, but they're going to load a lot quicker. And speaking of PS5, we have so much to talk about now. Again, like I said, developers coming out praising it, calling it revolutionary. And hell, I even have a piece of audio that I'm going to play for you guys as well. This is from Jason Schreier. So apparently Jason Schreier actually got to talk to a few developers about PlayStation 5 after the console was actually shown, or not really shown, but after the specifications were shown and Mark Cerny went into detail for the game developers at the actual keynote. And this is what he had to say. Let's go ahead and roll that for you.
Right now, I heard from at least 3 different people, like, in the past couple of hours since the Sony thing, being like, wow, that like the PS5 is actually like the more superior piece of hardware in a lot of different ways, despite like what we're seeing in these paper specs.
Yeah, so what did I take from that? I really, I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Developers are that pleased with the system. I'm willing to see what the results are, right? I got to see these games at this point. If developers are that excited about this console, then it makes you wonder, did Sony find the alternative of selling you not only a good system that's going to show you that next-gen leap, but also it's going to give you that value? Now, if you guys remember, before we even got to the official confirmed specifications of PlayStation 5, I did a video where it said that PlayStation 5 was strategically priced at $400, clocked at 9.2 teraflops. A lot of you supported that video. Shout out to you guys, but a lot of you kind of saw where I was coming from with that video. Ironically, we're here, and that is pretty much the case for the most part. The only difference is Sony has Sony announced that this system runs at a boost frequency, right? It runs at a boost clock, which brings it to 10.3 teraflops, which is pretty good for them, right? But it's variable. It's a variable boost. This is what's really, this is really what's shocking me as well, too. I'm like, okay, well, they managed to do this and they're getting these type of results and people are really praising it like this, then if they can reach that $400 price tag, that is a value I don't think anybody can really counter, to be honest with you. I really don't. And of course, we know Sony's going to bring it with the games, but you know what I'm really intrigued with? I want to see how fast these games really do. I really want to see the performance of all these games. I know a lot of people were probably kind of at all, when it came to Spider-Man, but some people complained about Spider-Man when it came to certain aspects in terms of the web swinging. We already have reports supposedly that Spider-Man 2 is going to have a new refined web swinging system, right? But it's going to be faster. And if that's the case, it kind of makes you wonder just how fast is games going to be, and just how fast is the actual console going to do X amount of things. As of right now, I have no worries going into PlayStation 5. Both systems are going to be good. They're going to be great. And I think we all win in the long run when it comes to these next-gen systems. And before somebody comes here and brings some console war mentality, I highly recommend you follow me on Twitter. I don't engage in that stupid shit. I really don't. I keep it gaming on both sides. I keep it very level-headed and fair going across all platforms. I just have been. I can't participate in this shit. I think it's stupid. More dudes have lost their minds in this console war, and it really shows, especially in content. Now, let's get into a few things here. Man, so many patents I covered on this channel. So many. Yeah, this video is gonna be quite a big one for you guys, but so many patents that I cover. But you know what? Actually, let me not cover the patent. Let me not go here yet. Let's go to this right here. So Sony has not said anything about PS5 after the GDC reveal, right? And a lot of people are wondering, is this system even going to come out this year? Because, we haven't even seen the console. Well, Sony updated their store for the PlayStation. They updated the PlayStation Store, and they have the PlayStation 5 there. It is indeed stated that it's coming holiday 2020. Now, Microsoft, after the PlayStation's spec reveal from GDC, right? They actually had a leak. I guess you can say it's a leak, or maybe a strategic leak they had out there, where it said that Xbox Series X is coming out in Thanksgiving of this year, right? Or of this this year, Thanksgiving. So I'm wondering when we're going to get, because we got to see the console eventually before we get to this actual reveal, right? So what are they going to do for the reveal? But Sony did update their store. It's coming this year. The question is when. We have nothing else of when it's going to happen, nor do we have an actual date of a show that's going to counter what Microsoft showed for their console. So here's to say, But one thing is for certain, though. People are starving for anything related to PlayStation 5. And that was evident. If a boring GDC-like show like what we saw from Sony can get 12 million views in just one day versus the Xbox Series X reveal, which had about, like 5 million at the end of the day. You guys remember what I'm talking about? You know, those of you don't know what I'm talking about. At like 5 million at the end of the day. That is huge. That just goes to show how big this console is. And how many people are looking forward to this console. So again, the anticipation is there for PlayStation 5. I don't even have to go on for that at all. But I will talk about these patents here, because apparently this actually goes into perspective here, what I've talked about for on the channel, and I definitely want to talk about it. So let's see. According to this, PlayStation 5's operating system will indeed feature interactive interfaces. Now, I could have sworn we talked about something like this before. Did we not? Did we not? I think we talked about this on RGT. But to go into the context of this, let's read. This backs up previous comments from Mark Cerny, the lead PS5 architect, during an interview with The Wire last year. It sounds like Sony is keen to blur the line between the user's game and the console operating system by implementing aspects of a game user interface into the PS5's menu, which sounds like a logical step for next generation. We don't want the player to have to boot the game, see what's up, boot the game, see what's up. Multiplayer game service will provide the console with the set of joinable activities in real time. Single player games will provide information like missions you could do and what rewards you might receive for completing them. And all of those choices will be visible in the UI. As a player, you just jump right into whatever you like. So basically, you download the game and it will basically, I guess you can say, all the aspects of the game, right? Like all the information, such as like the multiplayer, the single player, vice versa, right? Will be right there. And it's kind of like a quick select. You can select it and bam, you're there. You can play it. That is pretty cool. I actually like that. So this would be good for those who like to play multiplayer and don't like the load times and all that crap, right? If you like to play fighters like Tekken, you can immediately launch in, play whatever portion you want to play. Do you want to play the treasure battles immediately? Do you want to play the story mode? Or do you want to instantly go to ranked and play some ranked matches? You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's awesome. And again, this adds into the perspective of how fast this thing's going for. Sony's going for a seamless experience. Makes sense to go for a seamless interface like this. To add on to this though, there was another patent that was talked about, and this could very well be the thing. According to this, Sony patents direct gameplay booting. Now, how many times have we talked about this on RGT, where you can supposedly take parts of the game and play those without even having to load the whole file, if that makes sense? You can just play a portion of the game. According to this is what Sony supposedly is going to do even more to load, or to pretty much eliminate the need for a load screen, or to eliminate waiting times in general for your game. So you can do this on the actual interface. Now, I know a lot of people might go, Ryan, that sounds like something from Call of Duty, right? Where you can choose between like multiplayer and single player. Well, here's a quick update. Now, of course, according to them, they says, because I've seen some confusion. Don't mistake this with games giving you the option to launch in either single player or multiplayer, as that has been something that has existed for a long time. Now, instead look at it like this. You create a template, so when you launch the game, you are immediately in matchmaking, not just in multiplayer menu, but in a menu to find a lobby. There are tons more ways this can be applied, but don't look at this as simply an option to launch the game from single player or multiplayer. So that's pretty cool. You have options to actually make your experience that much more faster. That is pretty damn sick, I must say, for PlayStation. Really cool indeed. Overall, man, I am very excited for this console. Very excited for Microsoft's Xbox Series X, like I already said. Announced it on RGT not too long ago that I'm going to have both, so I'm going to be playing on both consoles. So pretty soon, we're going to definitely be doing everything on this channel, covering everything, but I'm looking forward to it at this point, you know? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm sorry I took forever for this video, and I'm very sorry I haven't uploaded as much, but I know a lot of you have been patient, and I want to say shout out to you guys, all the new subscribers. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a few one-on-ones planned for you guys on the channel. Shout out to Enrique from the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I'm pretty sure we're going to do something probably tomorrow or the day after. I just got to hit him up, so going to hit him up for sure. I'm also going to hit up one of my favorite YouTubers, and we're going to talk for you guys here. It's not really going to be game, well, it could be game related, but it's going to be a few other things as well. Kind of like a nerd tech type of talk. I know it's weird. It's weird. I also expect a reunion type of thing too. That's going to happen very soon. Can't wait till that individual gets his microphone and stuff, and we're going to talk. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man. How you feel about this? All right, definitely show that support. Hit that like button if you are new. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. Select all for all notifications so you won't miss content. I do appreciate everybody again for the awesome support. Appreciate all of you. You guys have a blessed one. And I will see you guys on the next one, which probably be tomorrow, I guess. But I don't want to make no empty promise. So see you guys later, man. Y'all be blessed. Later. It's Big Cloud Gaming signing out.